Have you ever stopped to think about how the people around you affect your daily life? Have you ever wondered why some relationships propel you forward, while others leave you exhausted and discouraged? On the vast stage of life, each person we meet plays a unique role, but not all of those performances are beneficial to our emotional and mental well-being. As the wise Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It is impossible to live without being hurt, unless we completely avoid doing something that is impossible." This statement invites us to reflect on how we can consciously choose the relationships around us to minimize unnecessary suffering and maximize our potential for growth and happiness. On this fascinating journey, we'll explore 7 types of people best avoided in life, according to the teachings of Stoicism, and discover how these lessons can transform the way we relate to the world around us. So get ready to unravel the mysteries of human interactions and learn how to cultivate relationships that nourish your soul and propel you forward. But before we start, if this is your first time on my channel, I ask you to help me by subscribing and liking the video, so I can continue creating more content like this in the future. Here we teach you from the art of calmly facing the challenges that life presents us to understanding the transcendental importance of living in harmony with nature and cultivating virtues that enrich our inner being. Each lesson immerses us in a deep journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Discover the teachings of Stoicism and learn to apply them in your modern life with our ebook. Click on the description to get it right now. Each teaching gives us the opportunity to cultivate greater awareness of ourselves and the world around us, inspiring us to transcend the limits of the ordinary and pursue a fuller and more meaningful life. Welcome to this path of self-exploration and personal growth. The ruthless egoist. We begin our journey by exploring the type of person Epictetus warned us to avoid, the ruthless egoist. This personality seeks only his own benefit, without caring about the well-being or the feelings of others. Recognizing this type of individual is crucial to protecting ourselves from his negative influence in our lives. The ruthless egoist can manifest itself in various ways. He can be someone who seeks to exploit others for his own benefit, who manipulates situations to get what he wants, or who completely lacks empathy towards others. His actions are driven by a selfish desire to satisfy his own needs, without considering the consequences for others. The presence of a ruthless egoist in our lives can cause stress, anxiety, and emotional distress. His actions can undermine our self-confidence, undermine our relationships, and affect our mental and emotional health. It is essential to learn to identify and protect ourselves from this type of personality to preserve our peace and well-being. The gossip and manipulator. A personality that seeks to sow discord and manipulate others for its own benefit. Following the teachings of Seneca, we learn to recognize the signs of this toxic personality and protect ourselves from its negative influence on our lives. The gossiper and manipulator is one who spreads rumors and talks behind the backs of others to create conflict and obtain personal advantage. This type of person seeks to feed their own ego and satisfy his needs at the expense of truth and integrity. To identify the gossiper and manipulator, we must pay attention to their behavior patterns. They are usually experts in sowing discord between people and manipulating situations for their own benefit. They also tend to be skilled in the art of persuasion and can use inside information to control others. However, by following the principles of Stoicism, we can strengthen our ability to discern truth from lies and protect ourselves from emotional manipulation. We learn to stand firm in our values and not allow the machinations of others to affect us emotionally. The negative and pessimistic. In our quest to identify and avoid toxic people in our lives, we encounter the negative and pessimistic individual, a personality that constantly emits negative energy and undermines our peace of mind. Inspired by the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, we learn to recognize the signs of this personality and protect ourselves from its influence. This personality tends to see the negative side of things and project their own insecurities onto others. His comments and attitudes can affect our mood and make us feel emotionally exhausted. However, following the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, we remember that we cannot control the actions or words of others, but we can control our response to them. We cultivate the virtue of indifference toward negative opinions and focus on maintaining our own inner peace. We learn to set healthy boundaries with those who constantly emit negative energy, protecting our peace of mind and our optimistic outlook on life. We practice the art of gratitude and acceptance, remembering that even in the midst of difficulties, there is always something to be grateful for. The destructive critic. The one who constantly passes negative judgments and discourages our efforts. Inspired by the teachings of Cicero, we will learn to distinguish between constructive criticism, which seeks our growth, and destructive criticism, which seeks to undermine our self-esteem and confidence. Destructive criticism may come disguised as well-intentioned advice, but its true nature is to undermine our security and self-esteem. Often, these critics do not offer constructive solutions, but simply seek to highlight our mistakes and flaws. However, Stoicism teaches us not to let the opinions of others define our value. Instead of being affected by destructive criticism, we can choose to focus on our personal growth and strengths. A useful strategy is to discern whether the criticism is genuine and constructive, or simply an expression of negativity. If it is constructive, we can consider it as an opportunity to learn and grow. If it is destructive, we can choose not to let it affect our self-esteem and self-confidence. The chronic victimist. A personality that constantly seeks to be the victim in all situations. Inspired by the teachings of Musonius Rufus, we will learn to recognize the signs of this behavior and how to protect ourselves from its influence on our lives. The chronic victimizer tends to attribute all of his problems to external factors, avoiding taking responsibility for his own actions. He constantly seeks sympathy and attention from others, using their perceived victimization as a way to manipulate situations in his favor. To protect ourselves from chronic victimhood, it is important to set clear boundaries and stay grounded in our own reality. We must recognize that each individual is responsible for his or her own life and decisions, and not allow the victimhood of others to manipulate us emotionally. At the same time, we can practice empathy and compassion toward those who display victimhood tendencies, recognizing that they may be struggling with their own internal difficulties. However, it is important to remain firm in our boundaries and not allow their victimhood to drag us into their spiral of negativity. Drama and chaos. Have you ever met someone who always seems to be surrounded by drama and chaos? This is the personality that Epictetus warns us to avoid. Those who constantly look for problems and dramatize situations can drain our emotional energy and distract us from our own goals. However, by following the teachings of Epictetus, we can learn to remain calm in the face of drama and chaos. He reminds us that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control our reaction to them. Practicing acceptance and detachment allows us to stay focused on our goals and values, even when facing chaotic situations. Instead of being swept up in the drama of others, we can choose to stand firm in our inner calm. Additionally, setting clear, healthy boundaries is essential when dealing with people who are prone to drama. By communicating our needs clearly and firmly, we can protect our peace of mind and preserve our energy for what really matters in our lives. The unscrupulous opportunist. On our path to healthier relationships, it is crucial to identify and avoid the unscrupulous opportunist, a personality who seeks to take advantage of others regardless of the moral cost. Following the teachings of Seneca, we learn to recognize the signs of this personality and protect ourselves from its negative influence on our lives. The unscrupulous opportunist is one who is willing to sacrifice integrity and ethical values in pursuit of his own benefit. He has no qualms about manipulating others, lying, or betraying trust in order to achieve his goals. Learning to identify this type of person is essential to protect our integrity and emotional well-being. His actions can cause great harm, eroding our trust in others and undermining our self-esteem. By following Seneca's principles, we can cultivate the wisdom and discernment necessary to recognize the wiles of the unscrupulous opportunist and stand firm in our values. Let's not allow his lack of integrity to compromise ours. By learning to recognize and avoid these 7 types of toxic personalities in our lives, we can cultivate healthier, more meaningful relationships. By following the principles of Stoicism, we can strengthen our ability to set healthy boundaries and preserve our mental and emotional peace in any situation. Let us always remember the wise teaching of Marcus Aurelius: choose not to be hurt, and you will feel no pain. So let's consciously choose to surround ourselves with people who inspire us, support us, and help us grow. If you liked our video, like and subscribe. Leave us your comments and share your experiences with us so that YouTube knows that these types of videos help people like you, and we can continue creating more similar videos in the future. See you in our next video.